Good afternoon and welcome to Adam and Scott Suck at Betting here on the walk-off. But buddy,
Not this week.
not this week. That's right. Oh man, I was so pleased with myself. So this is what happened, everybody. Game 4 of the Yankees and Astros ALCS. Yankees backs against the wall. The odds in the Yankees' favor not to be swept. And I waited until the Yankees were up 2-0 in that game, and the Astros now had 4-1 odds. So I put $30 down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to win my $125 or
Of
whatever it
course.
would be. And then in the seventh inning, when the Yankees took the lead again, 5-4, I doubled down. I was like, screw it. $30 more on the Astros.
Wow.
Wound up walking away $250 richer. Such a rarity, buddy. I mean, the name of our show really does sum up how often I win. But it felt pretty good.
I did okay too. I did some live in-game betting. I think it was game 3 when the Astros were up 2-0 in like the 5th or 6th inning. I put some money down. They piled on some runs shortly thereafter. I think they went on to win the game 5-0 or something like that. But
Yeah.
man, I got to tell you, it did not feel good profiting off of the Astros in any way. Like, as much as I dislike the Yankees, I did feel like I was betting on my grandmother to fall down the stairs or something.
Right?
And then like, ooh, she did it. You know, like,
Such a double-edged sword.
it's dirty, greasy money. But
We are of course partnered with BetStamp. They are an aggregating site. That's Adam showing our fancy screen share ability there. If you are going to sign up for BetStamp, it's a great idea, number one, because you are going to be able to look at all of the betting sites and see which one has the best odds. So, if you are going to place money on something, you might as well make as much money as you can off of that bet. If you are going to sign up for BetStamp, if you use the code WALKOFF, all one word, that truly does help the site. And of course, then you're able to line shop and get the best deal you possibly can on that bet you're placing. That Astros-Yankees series. It's safe to say Yankees Nation is in panic. Is panic the right word?
yeah, probably. Probably.
There are some hot takes coming out of New York when it comes to the fandom.
Yeah, I thought Jays fans were overreacting when we got swept by the Mariners, but turns out
We had
cool
no
cucumbers.
idea what overreaction was. Yes.
Yes.
I know that there is all sorts of rumors and smoke coming out of New York, the Big Apple. Aaron Judge at the forefront of most of it, and I know that Andy Martino just came out with a report. He's of course a reporter for the Yankees in Yankee Nation, and basically more or less what he said is that there were many players that came out and vocalized how shocked they were. Now, this wasn't with the media, this was with their agents, so this is all hearsay. This is all rumors, if you will. So who knows how much weight this actually holds. But Andy Martino is somewhat of a respected guy within the Yankees media. And basically what he said is that there's players that went to their agents and were absolutely shocked at the fact Aaron Judge, after breaking the AL home run record, most likely winning the MVP, having truly, I think it's probably safe to say, one of the top 10 seasons in MLB history.
Yeah.
Like, truly incredible feats accomplished by Aaron Judge this year. And this is coming from a Jays fan, right? Like, I don't even want to give credit to Aaron Judge if I can avoid it. But, I mean, it's pretty tough to deny the man. So, a lot of these players have vocalized that they didn't like that the fans booed. And, of course, now the fans are like, oh, everyone's so soft. I should be able to boo whoever I want and them just be like, thank you, sir. Give me some more. Refusing to take any sort of They want accountability amongst the players, but God forbid, as a Yankee fan, you take any sort of accountability for the way you behave in the crowd. And I know, listen, Julia Cruz of MLB.com, she came on the show recently, and she even mentioned that when it comes to fans, she truly believes Toronto fans are too soft on the team sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and that the fan base in Toronto can be maybe supportive to a detriment, where it's not putting the sort of pressure on the players to succeed to the level that everyone expects them to, right? Which is winning a World Series. That is obviously not the case in New York. But it is going to be very interesting to see how this actually does affect Aaron Judge's decision. He is a human being. And yes, you can say the right things, and of course Aaron Judge did, because he is a diplomat when it comes to saying the right things with the media. It's one of the reasons why he's so sought after to stick around New York. He handles New York and the media head and shoulders above what most players would do. But now there's rumors coming out that Anthony Rizzo is going to opt out of his contract, right? 33 years old. You brought this up yesterday, Adam. But, I mean, he is a big lefty bat, had a good season, and probably can make even more money on the open market if he chooses to go that way. So now, all of a sudden, the Yankees really need to start worrying about shoring up some of these guys that they're going to free agency, because the guys they do have locked up are problems anyways, right? IKF, Donaldson, that left side of the infield, man, it's been an offensive hole. You expect the bat to mean something when you're playing third base. You expect the bat to mean something when you're a shortstop in Major League Baseball. And I mean, you look at the Toronto Blue Jays, they're a prime example of, they're weighted heavily on the corners.
We just had this.
Vladdy,
we just had this talk yesterday about greatest Blue Jays third baseman of all time and how far down the list Matt Chapman, Platinum Glove winner, is on that list, due and largely to the part that he only hit 28 home runs this year.
Yeah.
What did Josh Donaldson hit in his MVP season?
42?
42, right? Troy Gloss was another name that was mentioned. 38 home runs at third base, right? The corner infield is a power position. So 20-ish home runs, not going to get it done.
Listen, I'm not even saying Yankees fans don't have the right to be upset. They were just swept by the Astros. It's just really going to be a fun offseason for everyone that's not a Yankee fan to watch what happens there.
Here's a thought
that could shock us.
Here's a thought, Scott. In most industries, okay, like we're talking Hollywood, we're talking the way sports is going now, right? Like there is more power and fairness going on from the talent side of the camera, right? Obviously the Me Too movement that went on a few years ago, right? Fair treatment of actors and actresses, this whole let the kids play mentality in sports, right? In the NBA, you see it with the players kind of navigating their way through contract deals, and there's real power in the players at this point. And I'm just wondering if that is this harsh treatment by the New York fans, if this is an outdated concept of what is reasonable, where
of course it is.
The players are, but like where the players like Anthony Rizzo maybe 10, 15 years ago would have just been like, yeah, this is New York. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Right. And that was kind of the Big Apple attitude, and sports, you just had to accept that. But now with this change in the social climate over the last 5 years, if guys like that are like, no, man, I don't have to take this. Like, I'm not here to be like Joey Gallo was. Neither of us are a fan of Joey Gallo, but I don't think I
he
don't think
deserved what
any
he
of us
got. No,
are jealous of his treatment in New York. It's got to be
that's
a
a really
factor, man.
good. That's a really good point, man, that I hadn't really thought of. Just the social climate and just the fact that some of these players are like, I don't need.
I
You
don't
can
need
call me
this.
soft. Call me soft all you want. I'm going to go make millions of dollars elsewhere. New York is not the only place you can play baseball, especially if you want to win, right?
Well, and that's the other thing too, right? Is that right now going to New York doesn't mean winning,
No,
right?
it
Um,
did in the 90s. It did in the early 2000s, but it's been 2009 since they won a World Series. They are a perennial contender. They are a playoff team the majority of the time. But this isn't the big bad Yankees that we all grew up with in the 90s as kids, right? Like,
Look,
this isn't the juggernaut.
I don't know how closely you follow the NFL. The New England Patriots had
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady and Bill Belichick for
Great
decades,
comparable.
it felt like.
Yeah.
And, we always heard of the Belichick way, right? Is that he was a total hard ass on his players, practices, pre-games, all these things were absolutely brutal, right? But they won like 7 Super Bowls in 20 years. So guys kind of put up with it, It's like, wow, yeah, I'm going to get my rings, stick it out. We're going to win.
The
But Tom,
payment to be a winner. Yes.
but Tom Brady's gone. The Belichick way with Mac Jones is not working. And I wouldn't want to put up with that abuse if there was no realistic chance at winning at the end of it. Be like, what are we getting yelled at here for? Like, come on.
I mean, baseball as a sport is changing. You just brought up let the kids play, right? In the last 5 years, we have watched players celebrate offensive accomplishments in ways we never have seen in baseball. We've watched the unwritten rules fall to the wayside. It's almost insanity to think that all of this can change and shift in the climate of the sport of baseball, but New York as a fan base can stay the same and just it be accepted that way. We've watched the world shift.
Yeah.
With Gen Z, right? And they're at the forefront of a lot of these big social changes that are happening, and probably for the better, right? Like, I think it's great the amount of respect that is being shown within clubhouses these days, and that there isn't that suck it up buttercup mentality for every little thing. But there's still mental toughness in the game. There's still all these other intangibles that we perceive as valuable attributes to an organization. But you got to shift with the times, man.
Cancel
And
culture needs to come for Yankee fandom. You're on notice, Yankees fans.
No, but it is a really interesting point, dude. Let's talk a little bit about this World Series before we wrap things up here, because the Philadelphia Phillies are heavily favored. Are the big time underdogs. Sorry, the Astros are heavily favored. The best odds are going to be on betting on the Phillies. That is going to be the biggest payoff. So if you're going to do so, you're going to want to line shop and see where you're going to be able to put down the least amount of money to make the most amount of money. And of course, BetStamp helps you do that. Do you have that up by chance, Adam?
Yeah, so I'm looking here. Looks like best odds for Phillies, if you're going to take the Phillies, plus 185 over at Pinnacle, which is like plus 20 points bigger than a lot of other places. So, plus 30 over some other options. So, yeah, Pinnacle, definitely your best bet. BetStamp helps you find those best odds. If you do want to bet greasy money on the Houston Astros, looks like Bet365 has the best odds at minus 175. So, bet 175 to win 100. Best odds there. Who do you like in this series, Scott? Do the Phillies really have a chance?
I hope they do, man. I mean, if I'm putting money on this, I'm putting it on the Astros. Like I really do think that they are an elite team. This might be one of the better baseball teams we've seen in the league in years. I think that they are better than the Braves were last year, who won the World Series. I think that they're better than the Dodgers were in 2020. I think that they're better than the Nationals were in 2019. This is truly an elite team that does everything right. Their
It's hard to
pitching
find a flaw.
it's almost impossible, man. It is almost impossible to find a flaw. The depth of the starting pitching literally doubles plus what the Phillies are bringing to the table. Now, we've watched in the past, right? We watched the Arizona Diamondbacks literally beat the Yankees in 2001 on the backs of Kurt Schilling and Randy Johnson. It was pretty much a two-man staff that won them that World Series. So can it be done? Yeah, and the Phillies have shown that they can beat teams on the back of Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
Well,
But
this is the thing. You only need 4 wins, right? So if Wheeler and Nola can each pitch for you twice, and they can each, pitch into the 7th, 8th inning and of lockdown ball, like I'm almost talking myself into the Phillies here.
I mean, this is the problem, though, right? Is they line up with Justin Verlander and
I know.
Framber Valdez. It's like these are two guys that are competing for frickin' Cy Young awards. And so is Wheeler and Nola, right? But like, if the Phillies lose one of those games, where Wheeler or Nola is pitching, it's like, what do they do? Like, do you think they can piece together another game like they did in the wild card?
I don't know, man. But here's the thing: is every matchup I've been predicting the Phillies to lose.
Yeah, me too.
Like I didn't have them beating the
Cardinals.
Didn't have them beating the Cardinals. Who'd they play in the second round? Was it the Braves? Must have been the Braves in the second round.
Yeah, it was the Braves. Yeah.
Didn't have them beating the Braves.
No.
I certainly didn't have them beating the Padres. I thought this was the Padres' year.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
Especially after they got past the Dodgers. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm hoping for the Phillies. I'm going to be cheering for Philadelphia. I'm going to be watching every game, hoping that this magic can continue to happen.
Man, I've just talked myself into it. I'm going to go put like $20 on the Phillies.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Frick, we should have done this when we said we should have done this before the playoffs even started. Both
Back
of
when
us
they're
were
plus
like,
3,000.
Just put $20 on the Phillies. Put $20 down. Like, anyways, hindsight's 2020, but it does piss me off that it's not even hindsight. We literally were saying this before the playoffs started, and I just never got around to doing it. Laziness, not even anything other than laziness. I had $10 to put down on them, and damn it.
Okay, while we're on the topic of frustration, can I just vent quickly before we go here about the baseball playoff schedule being locked into the dates that it's locked into? I know you can't ever predict essentially 2 sweeps in the conference series, right? 4-0 and 4-1. They both ended on the same day, though. We got a week without baseball?
I know. What
this
the
is
hell?
awful,
and this
man.
And now it's going to be weird, too, because there's going to be all this talk about rust, right? Rest versus rust. And
at least it's fair for both, right?
Fair for both, as they both sat around for 6 days waiting for this to start.
Hey,
Great
you know
point.
what though? This has been my argument since we've been on this tangent about the All-Star game. I know it's the Midsummer Classic, but the idea of doing something the way the NFL does with their Pro Bowl the week before the Super Bowl would be nice if we had some filler right now with a little home run derby and skills competition.
Skills comp or something?
Right?
Exactly.
You just take the 28 teams that aren't in it and you see who can run the fastest, throw the furthest, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's the child in me wishing for more fun in baseball. So
couldn't agree more. Let's wrap it up here, my dude. Thank you so much to everybody who is watching. Of course, if you are going to sign up for BetStamp, Super appreciate it. If you use the code WALKOFF when you do so, if you've watched this far into the video, please hit subscribe and maybe hit the like button. Really appreciate everyone within the Walk-Off community, all of you. The support and the constant interaction is truly, for lack of a better term, heartwarming. So
Yes.
thanks again. All the best. We'll talk to you Friday. Cheers. We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.